Alright, it's only me. Shut up, you man! What are you doing? You can't just run in do that when I'm doing this. Right, anyhow, sorry about that. I've just got a crazy animal in here. But the day I'm coming home, going to do one after the album of the day, we're going to go back and revisit David Byron's excellent 1975 solo album, by far his best work outside of Uriah Heep. Take No Prisoners, and go and do this song called Saturday Night, which is a nice wee kind of jaunty, kind of rock and rolly number that I'm pretty sure Billy Joel must have heard for the song It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, because it kind of, no like starting only similar, but there are some similarities in there. But David Byron, of course, lead singer of Uriah Heep for around about 1969 to 1976. Massive influence on Freddie Mercury. Kind of people just talk about Freddie Mercury now as if he was this thing that invented itself. That it's absolutely no doubt that Freddie Mercury clapped eyes on David Byron at some point in the early 70s before Queen took off. I'm talking 70, 71. Look at yourself, Salisbury era. David Byron. I mean, the other thing with David Byron as well, when people talk, here I'm going away on one of my rants here, when people talk about the similarities between Uriah Heep and Deep Purple, there's no doubt that David Byron could probably sing higher than Ian Gillan, although his voice was a bit softer. Ian Gillan did have a rougher voice, but some of the notes that David Byron could get, who knows. David Byron died in about 1982, so who knows what he would have been doing now if he was still here. Obviously he couldn't still hit them high notes, but a man of huge charisma. Anybody that ever saw him, he died when I was like 8-year-old, so I mean I never saw him, but the people that say they've seen him in concert say he was something else. So we'll go back here, revisit this album that came out in 1975, probably better than the Uriah Heep album that year, Return to Fantasy, which of course is a totally amazing title track, Return to Fantasy, and a couple other tracks on there, but no exactly the best Uriah Heep album. Whereas the David Byron one, if you know the background of Uriah Heep, Ken Hensley was very much the guy that was seen as the golden goose laying the golden eggs and writing the classy songs, and David Byron, Mick Box, etc. all got kind of pushed to the side by the producer, the Svengali guy, Jerry Braun. So David Byron went and did this solo album, which is more in kind of tune with some of the earlier Uriah Heep stuff. If you think of songs like kind of Sweet Lorraine for the Musician's Birthday, stuff for kind of Look at Yourself, kind of rock and rolly. Aye. Anyway, I'm not one of the. I've already done one of these songs. I recorded my own version, A Man Full of Yesterdays, which is one of the epics for the album. Whereas this one's just a plain wee rock and roller. So let's get tore into it here. The structurally it's actually no bad and quite easy. It starts off with this riff where the first 3 times it's E, G and A, and then the 4th time it's E, A and B with this. And then you're into the singing here. And this is a nice wee rock and roll bit where you go for the E to A. And then this. And that takes you through the singing bits. That's basically what you're doing, is just moving the notes about a wee octave, because that would probably be like up to that F sharp, B and E. And then you come into this, it's got a wee bit here, it's kind of doo-woppy bit, which goes from the B to the F sharp, whereas just do the intro again and then a couple of the bits again, and then when you come to the last time room with it. And that D flat, then the third time you just stop when you hit the E. So I mean, there's nothing particularly traction about this track, it's just all about the rock and rollness of it, Ken, which there is quite a lot in that album, where it can, when your hands like steaming along, which also is a bit of Silver White Man. If you haven't heard this album, you should check it out. It's really pretty good. So let's get towed into this. This is David Byron's Saturday Night, which I'm pretty sure Billy Joel heard and probably had some ideas. Let's be fair about it, kinda. I'll be as fair as we can about it. So this is Saturday Night. So there you go, that's how you play Saturday Night with David Byron. Still pretty sure Billy Joel had a bite out of that for that song he did. 1980 Billy Joel's song came out, so I mean there was a 5-year difference. But Ken, David Byron, I mean there's no doubt about it that Ken Hensley's songwriting just had a different class about it, but I mean that's not just for David Byron, that's just for pretty much anybody else. If Ken Hensley had been given the time to actually finish what he was writing, he'd been one of the greatest songwriters of the 70s. I mean, he is one of the greatest songwriters of the 70s, but I mean, what he could have done if he didn't have Jerry Braun booting his arse all the time and wanting him out on tour and wanting another album, then the stuff Ken Hensley coming into Demons and Wizards, if Ken Hensley had written 10 albums of stuff of that quality, he'd probably got a knighthood or whatever that's worth to somebody. There's just some kind of recognition how good he was, but that was the problem with Uriah Heep and David Byron. That was how it ended up for David Byron, because I mean, it was just the frustration being the front man of Uriah Heep, but at the same time no getting any kind of respect, drove him onto the drink, and like he had all kinds of drink problems, and then it ended up he would turn in terrible performances, ended up getting fired by the band, kind of ended up in the wilderness in the late 1970s. And then when Ken Hensley left the band after the Conquest album, Mick Box went back to get David Byron. No, in fact, it was 1985 David Byron died, I tell a lie. And round about 1982, and David Byron telling him piss off, which extremely silly, but the way it went. But there goes a history lesson for you in Uriah Heep. Anyhow, have a nice day. And if you haven't heard it, give that David Byron album a listen, it's well good.